and welcome to All Saints Wick's family service.
Hello.
I'm Fliss with an S.
And I'm Flicks with an X. Don't worry, we're in the same bubble, so we are observing the rules, everyone.
We hope you all had a really lovely Christmas.
In fact, Happy New Year! Yes, let's do that. That's a wonderful touch.
We just thought we'd start with a quick prayer.
Yes, so before we begin, feel free to close your eyes and I'll just pray. Thank you, God, for the time we have together, even if we're far apart. And I just pray that during this time we have together, that you will speak to us and tell us what you want us to hear, and that we'll just get to know you more. And through knowing you more, that we will become more like you. Amen. Oh, yes. Amen. Yeah, wonderful.
Oh, hold on.
What?
We've just been interrupted. Our normal shows have been interrupted by a news report.
A news report? We better go straight to it then, Fliss with an S. Shuffle.
Hello, and welcome to the Family Service News. I'm Fizzy Rascal.
And I am Bruce Fluffington Jr. And I second that welcome.
Coming up on today's show, we have good news, we have local news, we have a report from 2,000 years ago, and we also have music and craft. Isn't that right, Bruce?
That is correct, Fizzy. And you know, there does seem to be a lot of bad news around at the moment. So we at Family Service News think it's important that we also talk about and present the good news.
In fact, our roving reporters have been combing the local area to find out all about your good news.
That's right, the local viewers from Russellton, from Wick, from Littlehampton and Lyminster are here today, right now, to tell us their good news.
Hello, my name's Angela. My good news is I've just finished decorating my bedroom, which I've been meaning to do for a long time, and I'm really pleased with the results.
Hello, this is my news. I'm very grateful because I've got a house to live in and a computer to work in for school, so that I can, on Google Meet, I can see my friends and text them. Bye.
My name's Alison, and my good news is that I'm very lucky to have a garden that I can go into and sit. And in the summer, and even now, I was watching all the birds flying down, eating the seed that I put out for them, and it's lovely to see them, especially the little robin.
Good news! Lunch is ready!
Wow, wasn't that amazing, Fizzy?
Yes, Bruce. So refreshing to hear some genuine good news, and especially that Shepherd's dinner was ready. I hope it was delicious.
Me too. And you know what I feel like doing whenever I hear good news like that, Fizzy?
No, Bruce, please tell.
I feel like singing. I feel like dancing and even moving past my body in time to music and maybe following the lyrics with, interesting gestures.
Well, that's quite a coincidence, Bruce, because our very next section is a song.
Wow! What are the chances of that? In fact, what are we waiting for? We should go do it straight away, shouldn't we?
Yes, just waiting for you to stop talking, Bruce.
Oh, I apologise. Consider it a zipped.
Wonderful. Here's Peter, Jackie and Ellie with My Lighthouse. Let's get up on your feet at home and join in with the actions.
In my wrestling and in my doubt, in my failure you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence you won't let go. In the questions your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. My lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Hey! Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Hey! Far before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. My lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore.
Fantastic. Well, I'm quite exhausted and a little bit sweaty after all that singing and exuberance, Fizzy.
I can tell, Bruce. But now you can sit back down as we're about to look at a story from the Bible.
Oh, that's right, viewers. We have some exclusive footage from 2,000 years ago of Jesus and his disciples.
The location is the Sea of Galilee, which looks strangely similar to Little Hampton seafront.
I must admit, viewers, it does.
Well, Bruce, sit back and watch as we continue our theme of good news.
Here we are at the Sea of Galilee, located in what we know today as Israel. And you can read this story in Mark 1, Matthew 4, Luke 5 and John 1. Interestingly, Galilee is not a sea but actually a very, very large lake in which local fishermen fish in their boats. And here we see two such fishermen, maybe Simon Peter and Andrew. It looks like they're fixing their nets. Oh, and who's this? It looks like Jesus. What's he saying? Come, follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. Of course, they would have heard about Jesus. He'd been telling people the good news that God's kingdom had arrived to bring freedom, hope and justice. What will they do? Wonderful, they are following him. Amazing. He chose these lowly fishermen to be his disciples, but also his friends. Yes, Jesus chose them and they left their nets and followed him. That is good news.
Wow, an amazing story of how Jesus chose his disciples. Just ordinary people that would see and do amazing things with Jesus.
This reminds me of a Bible passage, Bruce.
Oh, does it, Fizzy? And what would that be?
Well, it's from the book of 1 Thessalonians in the New Testament.
Oh, get the right one.
In chapter 1, verse 4, it says, "We know, because you are loved by God, he has chosen you."
Well, now you're making this personal, Fizzy.
Well, it's very important for our viewers to understand that this is the good news. The same way that Jesus chose his disciples to be his friends and follow him, he has also done the same for all of us.
Oh, wow, I think I understand. Because of the disciples' friendship with Jesus, he taught them the best way to live their lives. And it was in a way that brought peace, joy, and hope, not only to them, but to the whole world. In fact, they spread this good news all over the world, as I just said. And that good news is that Jesus wants to be our friend. And through that friendship, we find the best way of living our lives. Is that what you mean?
Yes, exactly. And isn't it marvellous that our viewers at home can read all about how to know, love and follow Jesus in this Bible, because he has chosen them.
We know, because you are loved, that God has chosen you. You know, that's a great quote and it's worth remembering. How can we help people to remember it?
You mean like remembering a Bible verse, Bruce?
Yes, that's a catchy phrase, like a memory verse in fact. We could use that phrase if you want. But how can we assist our viewers in retaining this vital knowledge?
I'm glad you asked, Bruce, because our very next section links in nicely with that.
Wow.
We're about to go live over to our Arts and Crafts studio, where our Arts and Crafts correspondent, Fliss, with an S,
Yes.
is about to show us a creative way of remembering this message.
Let's go.
Thank you, Fizzy and Bruce. I'm Fliss. I'm the Arts and Crafts correspondent for the Family Service News. Wasn't that an amazing story? A story about Jesus choosing just normal people, calling them to follow him and spread the good news, and help teach other people about what an amazing friends and how loved they are. And that he had come to save them as well. Today's craft is going to help us to spread that good news and other good news, because isn't it great to be positive in such a time when there's such bad news everywhere all the time? So, today I'm going to be teaching you how to become a newsreader with your very own TV screen to film the news in.
To do this craft, these are the things you're going to need.
Now, the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to cut a section of my card. So I want a rectangle, so it's really like a TV shape. So I'm going to just follow the shape on here. There you go, I've got my rectangle cut out. Now, if you don't have enough boxes, that's absolutely fine. You could use any strips of card and tape them together, or bits of paper, and that would work as well. Don't worry, we're just making a frame shape, so any way you can do it. It can be strips or it can be a section that you cut out. So as you can see, I've drawn a frame shape by just following the ruler. Then I'm going to cut out that middle section. I'm going to do that by just cut like that. And then cutting out to the edge. It's quite tricky. So once you've got your frame, we're going to decorate it so it looks a little bit like a TV. I think I would like a red TV screen, so I'm going to colour it all in red, but you can have it whatever colour you want. And I'm leaning on something, because otherwise I would be making a lot of mess. I hope you are too. Ta-da! It doesn't look that much like a TV screen yet, so maybe we need to add some buttons. I'm super, super lucky today because I've got these stick-on foam shapes. If you've got any of those, maybe you can stick some on to be the button. And you might have a bottle top that you could stick on. So I'm going to use this double-sided tape. You might have some glue or something. Cut some triangles so they can be the up and down. So I'm going to draw the power logo onto the button, which is a little line down with a circle round, like that. And then have our volume and our channels up and down. I might put so let's use a little bit of this amazing hologram tape. You can stick anything on. You could cut out shapes. You could just draw your buttons on, couldn't you? That would be fine. Anything that makes it look a bit like a TV screen. Here's my volume indicator, my channels up and down. Let's turn this. Not many televisions have that now. Showing my age and my on and off button. Wouldn't it be good if we remembered that everyone we're speaking to on our TV channel, when we're going to be telling our news show, has been chosen by God? So perhaps we could write our memory verse around the TV screen. Now, hopefully you remember it, because Fizzy Rascal and Bruce Fluffington Jr. have told us this, haven't they? They told us that in 1 Thessalonians 1:4, we are told, we know, so we know, because you are loved by God, that He has chosen you. And then, just to remind me, I'm going to put 1 Thessalonians 1:4 here. I'm just going to put 1 Thess 1:4. There we go. So my TV screen looks like this now. Written around the edge, it's got, we know, because you are loved by God, that He has chosen you. Which is pretty cool, right? Now you can be a newsreader yourself, just like Fizzy and Bruce, and hold your screen up with your face in it and tell your good news. So we're going back over to Fizzy and Bruce in the studio. Bye!
Welcome back, everybody. Wow, what a day it's been, huh, Fizzy?
Yes, we've heard the good news from our local area.
We've sung a song, and we've also seen Jesus choose his disciples to follow him.
And we've learned how to make a TV screen to tell our very own good news.
But most of all, we've learnt a memory verse, a phrase I came up with just earlier today, and which I will copyright.
Yes, well, and that memory verse applies to you, and you, and you, and you.
Hold on there, Fizzy. You could be going on quite a while, because I believe we have many viewers watching. In fact, I know there's at least 3. Hi, Mum.
You've been watching the Family Service News.
And it's goodbye from me, Bruce Fluffington Jr.
And farewell from me, Fizzy Rascal.
Goodbye. A farewell. See ya! Wow, wasn't that unusual? I mean, I've never seen a news report like that before.
No.
But the gentleman did have a lovely head of hair. Well, what next, Fliss?
So, now you've got a little bit of time to go away, make your frames, do your craft, practice saying your memory verse, and then we're all going to come back together to have a Zoom together.
Oh yes, hopefully you've received all the information, and if you're not watching this live, then of course none of that applies. But if you are watching this live, then we'll see you in a matter of minutes.
See you soon!
Bye!